There is a reason why one terrorist organization is celebrated while many similar terrorist organizations are ignored. Ignored, that is, unless you happen to be one of the many unfortunates in their vicinity or in their crosshairs. There is ignored war and genocide in Sudan and in many parts of the world. Many people have been murdered, kidnapped, abused in the worst ways possible, including in North Nigeria by Boko Haram, Somalia and Kenya by Al-Shabaab, in Mozambique by another Al-Shabaab, in parts of Mindanao by Abu Sayyaf, in South Thailand, in Yemen, in the Central African Republic, in Sudan by the RSF and Janjaweed, and in many other places in the world. There is always the same resounding silence. The secret to demented success for a terrorist organization, the way to win Western hearts and minds, backed by Qatari propaganda, including through Qatari-owned Al Jazeera, is to target, demonize, and blame Jews and Israel. There is more than enough of the diabolical hatred and scapegoating of Jews, a tiny religious ethnic minority in the world, to ensure that if Jews are the target of terror, there will be celebration, approval, and not condemnation by countless millions, even billions of people. If Jews cannot be blamed for the suffering of the targets of terror that are not Jewish, then there is silence. Hamas videotaped themselves murdering, kidnapping, desecrating bodies, setting people on fire, and committing other atrocities on October 7th. Hamas started a war using their multi-billion-dollar terror tunnels to hide in while having built not a single bomb shelter for civilians above ground. Meanwhile, Hamas leaders live in Qatar and elsewhere in extreme luxury with billions of dollars of pocketed aid money. If there had been widespread condemnation of Hamas on October 7th and thereafter, instead of approval and celebration, perhaps the entire senseless war could have been averted. Instead, Hamas is the world's preferred terrorist organization. They do the same cowardly, murdering, kidnapping, sexual abusing of defenseless people, and other abuses as do their religious or ideological soulmates, such as Boko Haram, Al-Shabaab, ISIS, Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, RSF, Janjaweed, Al-Qaeda, and the others. They deliberately target and harm civilian populations. War and terrorism are not the same. Casualties of war and murder are not the same. Hamas supporters try to conflate these words in their defense of Hamas murder and terror. Almost always, the only way to stop terrorist organizations, unfortunately, is through war. They can rarely be stopped any other way. The silence, the indifference shown to the many killing fields all over the world by terrorist organizations, of which many are the religious and ideological soulmates of Hamas, ensures many more lives will be lost. Many more people, including children, will die and suffer and die. Hamas gets front and center attention and support in that the millions of victims of terror and terrorist organizations or regimes across the world in the Sudan, Somalia, Mali, North Nigeria, Yemen, North Korea, Haiti, Afghanistan, Myanmar, Central African Republic, Lebanon, DRC, and in many more places will continue. All of these victims will continue to suffer in silence, pain, and misery, in that if Jews and Israel cannot be blamed, no one cares.